Hi there, and welcome to this webinar on Amplify e-commerce. My name is Robin Aitken. I'm the product manager for EasyAsk, and I'm really excited today to be showing you some of the Amplify system. We're really pleased with what we've built. We think you're going to love it. But with that, I'm going to jump straight in. Obviously, if you've got any questions, you'll see that there is a question box in the GoToWebinar widgets. If you could type your questions in there, we'll take all the questions at the end. I'm not going to have time to show you everything. Obviously, Amplify is a huge comprehensive system that that allows you to do everything you need to do in terms of omni-channel commerce, and so it would be impossible to show you everything in the next half an hour to 40 minutes. But should you want to see more, please get in touch with us. At the end of the webinar, we can schedule a 1 or a 2 hour session and zoom in on the things that really matter to you. So with that, let's just jump straight in and talk about Amplify, which is the latest generation e-commerce technology, which we've coupled with the EasyAsk Advanced AI natural language search system, which a lot of you are familiar with because it's the same search engine which is embedded into Storefront and hopefully has served you well over the years. That's where the similarities end, because Amplify generates mobile-ready responsive sites. So no more archaic storefront kind of front-end type systems. We make it a really easy transition from storefront. So we've got utilities and import definitions pre-built, which will automatically suck data from storefront or the other system in order to get it into the Amplify catalog. It's a fully featured platform that not only supports B2B, but also allows you to offer B2C type usage to your anonymous customers, and or even create a system which is a combination of both, so that your logged in account holders will see their prices. You can show some kind of standard price or no price at all to your anonymous users. It provides a really advanced user experience, and I've already mentioned the storefront experience, which is not very advanced, and it is not easy for your customers to see. By advanced user experience, I mean the ability to easily find products, to have instant search popping up. Part number expansion is of course built in, but in addition to that, we provide things like mega menus, merchandising zones, things that your customers are probably used to seeing when they're shopping on B2C sites or some of the advanced B2B competitors that you might have out there. The whole system is managed through a really easy to use console, and this system includes a PIM and a content management system. So that means that we can manage everything we need to within Amplify. Of course, we can import from other systems if that's what you would like to do, and of course we import from the ERP system. But Amplify includes comprehensive product information management and the ability to easily suck in images, documents, anything that you want to throw at it. And of course, that is completely under your control. So you can restrict access to any or all of that to differing users. And the merchandising functionality, such as merchandising zones, landing page creation, and so on, all under the control of the business user. So you no longer do you need website designers in order to change what's appearing on your flyout menus or on your homepage. All of that is in your control, and it's a true omni-channel system. So at the core, we have the Amplify e-commerce engine, but of course, then we offer the customer portal, which is a site generated using templates and functionality widgets and so on to generate a really superb user experience on the customer portal, and that's where your customers can log in, they can find the products, they can place orders, they can view the status of orders, and all that good stuff, the sort of stuff they currently do with storefront, but probably quite painfully in some situations. In addition to that, there's the staff portal, which allows your own staff to get in and manage things. And again, we can be very open in terms of access, and you can allow your staff to do anything, or we can set up roles and set up permissions so that certain staff can manage products, other staff might be just looking at certain customers, and so on. Then you've got the customer service portal, which is designed to allow your sales staff and your customer service staff to access Amplify in the same way that they would access the ERP system, except that through a much nicer interface to manage orders, to take orders, to place orders on behalf of customers, and so on. Additionally, we can configure a supplier portal, and so your suppliers can be given their own login IDs, which will allow them to come in and have restricted access to their products in your PIM so that they can manage the descriptions, they can add the latest documents or specifications to the product, thereby saving you a bit of time. If you've got suppliers that are willing to manage these things for you, we can give them access to do that. And of course, the whole system is linked to your ERP, so everything is going backwards and forwards in terms of orders, payments, product information that is in the ERP, usually fairly basic, but of course some customers like to treat that as the master, and things like pricing and availability, of course, really core in this world. And for those customers that want it, punch out interface through punch out to go means that we can interface with virtually any e-procurement system. So when we look at the whole picture, Amplify is allowing your customers web access through state-of-the-art site. It's allowing your staff to manage everything, your service agents to be able to take orders, place orders through the Amplify system, your suppliers to be able to manage the data that pertains to them, punch out enabling e-procurement systems to interface to your ERP, and of course the ERP itself, and Amplify is bringing that all together, and that really represents true omni-channel commerce. So any channel that you want to sell through can be enabled using Amplify. Let's look at just a few highlights of the front-end system. I am going to do a demonstration, but I just want to make sure I mention a few things specifically because we don't have time to demonstrate everything. So firstly, it's a B2C type customer experience for your customers. We give you control over what functionality you want to allow on pages. Of course, there's a standard set of functionality, but things like mega menus, landing pages, merchandising zones, where you can automatically, using natural language rules, redefine what products appear in those zones, like your featured products or this week's specials. All of that is in the control of the business and doesn't require any development. The best search in the business, obviously EasyAsk search has been optimized by Amplify to fit exactly, and we take advantage of all the intelligent things that the EasyAsk search engine is able to do, which of course Storefront was never able to do. Storefront was always a little bit behind with what EasyAsk could do. So when we built Amplify, we said the golden rule here is we take advantage of absolutely everything that EasyAsk can do. And that allows us to do things like easily create merchandising zones and landing pages, which I mentioned a bit later. Of course, though, there is comprehensive B2B functionality. Everything that you would expect to be able to do in a storefront system or in one of our competitor systems, of course you can do in Amplify system, but we offer a whole lot more as well. And that includes CMS system, so we can set up FAQs, you can create articles, even a blog if you wish, and an online ticketing system. So your customers, if they've got a query, can raise a ticket through the Amplify system, and that can be tracked and monitored and responded to in the appropriate way. In terms of the back end, we support multi-everything. So multiple catalogs, warehouses, stores, companies. Of course, it's multilingual and it's multi-currency. And in the back end, it's very business user friendly too. So it's not just the front end which is very user friendly. The business user should have no trouble navigating the back end of Amplify. And of course, we use EasyAsk search within the back end as well as the front end. So when your users want to identify products, to find products to work on, and so on, it's EasyAsk search that is being used. So your users don't need to understand complex structures, field names, and so on. We can restrict access as required, so you can set up different groups, such as product authors, order approvers, whatever groups you wish to have. We have a standard set of templates, but of course they are dynamic and can be modified to suit exactly how you want to restrict your users' access. Within the catalog, we support multiple product types, so not just simple product types. But if you've got products that have got lots of variants, and I'm going to show you an example of this in the live system, we support that in Amplify. We also support the ability to configure products. So your end user may want to choose options so that the product actually changes. A bit like buying a laptop and saying I want 12 gigabytes of RAM instead of 8. Very simple example, that type of thing. And also, if you want to offer product bundles, you can do that in Amplify. And a bundle is just a group of products which are usually related together. So, like selling toner with the laser printer. Now, all of that is controlled through a comprehensive PIM, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that. But it is, there's a lot of functionality there, and as I say, it would take too long to show you a good amount of it. But this PIM allows you to be very open about your publishing process for products, but it also allows you to tie it down if you wish. And so, for example, we have a product classification scheme, and what that means is that if you wish, you can say, once you've classified a product as a certain type, then that product has to have certain attributes and fields completed before it can go live on the website, before it can be published. And there is a workflow associated with publishing products, which can, as I say, can be left open and can be ignored, so that any product can be published, or you can be very strict about it and say, until this has got an image, we're not going to publish it, or until, because it's a compressor, we must specify the PSI before it can be published. So again, it's down to the classification scheme, which allows you to define effectively what a product is and what features of that product need to be documented in order to be published onto the web. Something which is another unique selling point of the Amplify system is our automatic data improvement. And what this allows you to do is to set up what we call data transformations, which allow you to modify product data at different stages. Now that can be automatically when products are imported. It can be every time a product is edited and saved. And of course, that means that you can always catch all the inconsistencies that data entry staff might use. You can expand abbreviations and so on. But in addition to what is effectively kind of global search and replace across your catalog, you can do some very clever things in terms of extracting useful information that may be hidden within product descriptions and so on. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples on the next couple of slides, actually, and I'll show you one of them in action in the live system. We have a content management system that allows you to define pages, templates, widgets. If you want to create new functionality, you can actually do that, and even to control what appears on all the menus and what the actions are associated with that, and what the restrictions are, who can see certain menu options as well. Of course, we have comprehensive reporting and tracking. So within the Amplify system, unlike the EasyAsk search system, which could never really tell what happened after the user had done a search, with Amplify, of course, we can track everything. And that means that we can link things like purchases or add to order type actions to searches, to other kind of breadcrumb trails, and allow a lot more analysis. And as data builds up, that will allow us to do things like people who search for this ended up buying this, that type of thing. The sort of thing that you see on sites like Amazon. All of that becomes possible because we are tracking everything that happens, not only on the front end, but we're also, for audit purposes, we're tracking it on the back end. So if you want to see who published a product, you can go into a system and do a query and find out all the interactions that have happened on a product or by a person, and actually view that data. Okay, let's look at an example of automatic data improvements. And this is a real example from a customer that sells a lot of lumber, and their lumber products look like this. The product name is exactly as you see on the screen in red. So whilst there are sizes of the lumber there, they're not particularly searchable because they're hidden. That actually means 2-inch thick, 6-inch wide, and 12 feet long. And it means it's smooth on 4 sides. It's Douglas fir premium. The problem that this customer had is they had 0 product attributes. And so when the customer was on their site, there was no way that the customer could click on an attribute to say, I'm looking for 6-inch wide timber to see, to filter down. That simply wasn't possible. So data transformation will take that product name and will use rules to extract useful information, in this case attribute data, and it will also transform the name itself. So using these rules, we're able to detect, using pattern matching technology, the thickness, the width, the length, and we can write those out as attributes. So we save them to the product. So having run this transformation, this product now has a thickness, a width, and a length attribute. And additionally, of course, we can easily convert the product name from the fairly unreadable version that's at the top of the screen to something a little bit better to look at, and also far better for search at the bottom. Another example, and this was actually the same customer. It's a building supplies company, and one of the products they sell a lot of is screws. And again, here's an example of a product description. We've got the size of the screw there. It's not particularly easy to search for because of the way it's structured. There's abbreviations, and there's also a pack size there. And again, no attribute at all with this customer. So we created another transformation, and what that did was pulled out the screw gauge, pulled out the screw length, pulled out the pack size, and stored them as attributes, so that now those can be filters on the left-hand side of the screen, or wherever they want to display their filters. And of course, we can convert the name as well, expand Phil to Phillips, and make the whole thing far more readable. I'll show you an example of a data transformation in action in just a moment. The other key thing I wanted to mention, and it's a unique selling point of Amplify, and it takes advantage of the EasyAsk search engine's variant processing. EasyAsk is very intelligent when it understands that a product has variants or SKUs. And firstly, I'm just going to show you an example which we deliberately left as untouched. This is how the products look. And so I did a search for stainless steel sheet metal screws, and I get 44 items. And of course, 44 items is probably 4 screenfuls of scrolling. And all I'm seeing is effectively the same product. So I've got 44 products, and the only thing that varies between them is the size. And that is just a very poor user experience, because the user, especially as they had no attributes, has to scroll through all of these and spot the size that they're looking for. Now, what we've done in Amplify is we've given you the ability to effectively SKUize these products, and we've done it with a different type of product, another screw. And what that means is when that screw is found in a search, it shows us one product in the search result. So it only occupies one slot on the screen, or in the category listing page. When somebody goes to the screws category, they just see this one product. But when we click on it, what we see is an expansion within the product detail page. And so this is a brass Phillips wood screw, but it's got lots of variants. The variants are based on the screw gauge and the screw length. And we give the user the ability to be able to filter within this screen, or to zoom in on a particular SKU and show a product detail page just for that particular SKU or variant. And that's important from an SEO point of view, to have those pages that are available for the variants in their own right, because especially if you're mentioning things like colors, and we have examples of that as well. But the best way for you to see that is on the site itself. So with that, I'm just going to jump into a demonstration. So I'm just going to switch to an Amplify screen, but I'm actually going to go to the back end first. And so this is the back end of Amplify. And as you can see from the menus, there is an awful lot of functionality that we've built. But what the screen that I'm on at the moment is just to illustrate the product management capabilities here. And so we're looking at a catalog which has got over 32,000 products in it, of varying types, as you can see. But we make it really easy for the user to be able to find products. And I could just do a search, or I can browse through a classification scheme, the categorization, product type. I can just look at the new products, and that's a special status that products have when they are new. In this case, I'm just going to go through and find a product based on browsing the catalog. And so I'm just going into the category structure, and I'm going to go into the power tools and accessories, and then power tools. And the product that I want to have a look at is a Makita circular saw. And so within this display, of course, I've got a lot of power tools, and all the ones that are visible at the moment are DeWalt. But what I can do is just type in some filter text, and immediately I'm seeing the right products. And I can go in, and in fact, this was the product I wanted to show you, the 6.5-inch Makita tool. And if I just edit that product, you'll see, there's quite a lot of information, and the information that we keep on the products is very dynamic. So depending on the type of the product, does it have SKUs, etc., different tabs will appear and disappear at the top of the screen. Of course, we keep a lot of basic information, the name. In this case, we've got a product classification, there's a description, there's a categorization. Of course, we can choose multiple, and lots of other information, which is configurable. For attributes, we can create as many as we wish. I've got none on this particular product, but if I wanted to, I could just go in and add an optional one, and I can pick them. At the moment, as you see, I've only got screw length and screw gauge, so I won't. We've got a pricing screen that allows you to set a kind of standard price that you might want to display to users before they've logged in, if you're allowing that. And also notice there is a group pricing bar here. There are no customer groups set up in this particular demo, and so they don't exist, but it does mean that you can set prices for individual customer groupings as well. Under media, obviously we've got the main image here. We can set up as many images as we want, and it's very, very easy. We can just choose a file or upload a file if it's not already in the system. And these are coming from an Amazon S3 server where we automatically load things. Documents is quite important. And in this case, and the reason I chose this product is that I actually uploaded a document earlier today so that I could show you this in the front end. And I will show you this product in the front end in just a moment. But what we can do is upload any number of any type of document, and these document types you have control of. So you can set the type, upload a document, and then that is then associated with that particular product. Of course, there's SEO information as well. I haven't filled much in on this one. And one of the things that we can do, by the way, is use the data improvement system, the data transformations, to automatically do some of this for you. I'm just going to cancel out of that product, and we'll look at that in the front end in a while. Here's a sample front end generated by Amplify. And firstly, of course, it's responsive. So if I go into this mode, this is what it's going to look like. And it's because we created a responsive template that most of the pages in this particular site are based on the look and feel template. And so we've obviously based it on a responsive design. Just go back to full screen. So firstly, let's just have a look at a product, and notice this product here is the one that I was showing you in the back end. So I'm just going to click on that so that you can see, what the product detail page looks like in this case. And in this case, it's a fairly basic product detail page, but the reason I chose this is because I wanted to show you that down the bottom here, because we uploaded a data sheet, we've automatically created a datasheet tab here. And if I click on that, now we can access the PDF. Your users can download it, they can print it, and so on, to see the details of the product. And for some customers, it's really important. There's things like installation guides, installation templates, and so on for complex products. And so the ability to add any number of documents and to show them in this form is important. And if I did have a template or a specification sheet, those would just appear as extra tabs along here. And should you need more than its width, these would also scroll. So we give you that document management facility within the product. You can define your own document types. We support PDFs, we support Office file formats, Google Docs, virtually any file format you can think of, including video, is supported and will display correctly when the user clicks on the document to see it. And of course, can always download it as well, if allowed. And again, that is configurable. You may not want your users to download your documents, in which case you can turn that off. Okay, let's just have a look at something else. So of course, user experience is really important for your customers, and so we want to make sure that we give them everything. So on the search system, of course, we've got EasyAsk search as you type. So if I start to type, I'm getting the products pop up already. Even if I type part of a part number, I'm seeing the part numbers, and this particular one was Max SH, and can get straight to the product just by typing part of the part number. And that can be configured in various ways. So we can break up the part number into component pieces, or we can do it based on just the initial few characters. That's entirely configurable. The other thing that many users have said is they want to see things like mega menus and so on. And of course, we've got menu systems here. And if I go to products, I can get a list of products, and I can zoom in by category and any other way. But the mega menu allows you to configure whatever you want to configure to pop up when the user hovers over it. In this case, I've said, let's create a mega menu that shows the top few categories and our featured products. And this is completely dynamic, and I've got complete control from the back end. So if I want to change, for example, featured products, so instead of seeing these, I will see my best sellers. I can do that. I can go into the back end, into the CMS, and if I just go into my menus, and we have menu groups, and which can have submenus. The primary menu, which is what I'm modifying. So if I go to the items there, and then I can see I've got my store mega menu. And if I just go to list the items on that store mega menu, here we have featured products and the categories. And they are shown in that order. That's the order that they were put in, but I could reorder those if I wish. At the moment, we're showing the categories first and then the featured products, and that's fine. But I'm going to edit this featured products item and change it to bestsellers. So I'm going to edit that. Let's change that. This is simply the words that appear at the top. And notice, by the way, that all of these textual fields are translatable. And depending on how many languages you've got defined, you'll have the option to put this in French or Spanish or anything else. And notice this particular mega menu option is a merchandising zone. The other options that we have as a default, we're showing categories. On the other one, we can show merchandising zones, we can show products, or we can put in any HTML we wish. So if you just want to show something as a nice big picture to make the site look good on the mega menu, we can do that too. But I'm going to leave it as merchandising zone. But my merchandising zone, I'm changing from featured products to bestsellers. And I'm going to show 4 products. I could change that, obviously. And the number of columns is related to the layout based on the grid structure for Bootstrap. So now I've got best sellers and categories, and I'll just check that the order is right. And it is, so categories is there at the top. And now if I go back to my store and I just refresh this page, and now I go to the store mega menu, now I'm seeing best sellers instead of my featured items. And these best sellers are coming through natural language rules that define the actual products. But within Amplify, we've defined merchandising zones which link to those rules. And so once you've defined a zone, you simply use it. And in this case, I'm using a best sellers zone on my mega menu. Let's just show you how dynamic the menus are, though. I'm just going to go back to let me just go to the menu groups again, and I'm just going to add a new page onto my menu. So on my primary menu, let's click on the items I've got there, and I want to add an item. Let's add an FAQ page onto the end. So I simply give it a name. I can restrict the visibility of it. In this case, I'm not going to. And menu type is default or mega menu, so I'm going to leave that as default. And the URL type is actually a page. And now if I choose the page, I've got an FAQ page defined within Amplify. And so I've saved that menu. And again, a refresh. I forgot to position it at the end, but that's okay. So now I've got an FAQ menu, and I click on it, and we've got an FAQ page. Again, completely dynamic. We created the page within the back end of EasyAsk. There's no programming. With that, let's just have a quick look at profiles and self-service. So I'm logged in as an admin for this particular organization, and we've got a completely dynamic menu system here. Of course, I can change my profile, but I can also add other contacts within my customer organization. And not only that, I can set budgets on orders, on daily limits, on monthly limits, so that I can give my customers the control over who in the organization can place orders with us. Of course, we can get to orders, quotations, lists. If I click on lists, for example, we can see, oh yeah, it is processing. We can see a list of lists, if you like, and we classify lists as either personal for the user or global for their organization, for the customer organization. And of course, within the list details, they can convert that to an order, they can add it to an existing order, they can turn it into a quote or anything else for that matter. So this is really giving your customers the ability for self-service to be able to add their own users, to be able to set budget limits if that's what they want to do. One thing I want to show you before we leave here is the SKU examples. And if I just do a search for stainless steel sheet metal screws, this is the example that I show you, which is a poor example where we've got lots and lots of products which are exactly the same product, different sizes. Let's contrast that with a product which is set up with variants. So if I search for a zinc wood screw, now we're only seeing the one, in this case, this Phillips flathead wood screw in zinc. And now if I click on that, what I see is a product detail page that recognizes that there are SKUs or variants and shows them in this way. So now I can scroll through all the variants, or if I wish, I could filter. If I know I'm looking for a number 8 screw, I can do that and just see all the different sizes, or vice versa. I can reset the filters to go back to all of them. This is a much better user experience. So if I know I'm buying some screws, I'm probably not just going to be buying one particular variant. I'm probably going to be ordering boxes of various sizes. This is a much easier way for your customers to do it. Now, this could be based on any attributes. In this case, the SKU attributes are the screw length and the screw gauge. I've got other products where we've got roof tiles, which are, or asphalt shingles, I think they're called, which are based on colors because they have 30 or 40 different colors. And rather than seeing 30 or 40 different products when we search for a roof shingle, we see one. And then we come to this screen and we can see color swatches and things like that. So it's a much better user experience. This is only possible because of the EasyAsk intelligent search, and I can make it even better by saying, what if I specify a size? So I've searched for a 2.5-inch zinc wood screw, and in my results, I've still got the one product, one master product. If I click on it though, I'm now zooming in to the detail page, but this time I'm seeing all the 2.5-inch. And notice that EasyAsk has taken the 2.5 and the inch symbol and said, I recognize that as an inch measurement. And it 2-1/2 really means 2.5. That will work for any measurement, and it will work for any metric. So if you want to show gallons, pints, fluid ounces, pounds, meters, it will work for that. EasyAsk does that for its intelligent numeric processing, which Amplify takes advantage of to be able to do things like this. And of course, these SKUs have their own detail pages as well. So if I want to go to a detail page for a particular screw, I can simply do it in that way. And then that's a dedicated detail page. And that's really important for SEO, especially if you're mentioning things like colors and so on. Finally, if I go to the home page, you'll have probably already seen, I'm not sure if I've been there yet, but I've got things like featured products, I've got bestsellers, new arrivals, and so on. These are all merchandising zones. They're 100% dynamic. If I want to change these featured products, I can go into my EasyAsk Studio and then go to my merchandising attributes, and featured products at the moment is showing these Makita circular saw products. Let's change that to something like DeWalt 20 volt, and I'll just pick a few products from all of the DeWalt products rather than picking them all. And we'll take a torch and a big drill and perhaps a kit as well. And in the EasyAsk system, I simply synchronize and save. And then when I come back to my site, because Amplify is taking advantage of these things, now my featured products are the products I just chose. So these merchandising zones, we refer to them as, are on this home page, but they can be put on any page, and they can also be made to be context sensitive. So if you've got bestsellers, for example, defined, and you show bestsellers in one category, you're only going to see the bestsellers within that category. If you go to a different category, obviously it's going to be different products. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So with that, because I realize we are slightly over time, and my apologies for that, I'm just going to go back and just quickly summarize. It's the latest generation omni-channel platform. We do make migration from storefront really easy, although it's very easy to migrate from anything else as well. It provides a modern, responsive site for your customers, and also for your suppliers and your staff, if you want to offer them their own portals as well. Being able to find products really quickly and easily is important to conversion and not losing customers. And obviously managing the products easily is fundamental to being able to provide all of the product information that you want to provide. The data improvements we think is a real game changer, because it means that we can take often quite rubbishy type data, really enhance it, pull out attributes, and save some big costs in terms of data improvement done manually. Rapid implementation, because of all the tools we've got, we're able to get you up and online very, very quickly. And that means it's a really fast ROI. You get immediate benefits and also long-term growth, because you've got control over the marketing, the merchandising, managing products, and so on. So with that, I thank you for lasting the course with me. And I don't know if there are any questions, Matt, in the question boxes.
Yeah, Robin, earlier you were talking about data transformation and you were showing the different portals. Does that data transformation only work for certain portals, or does one like a supplier portal, can they take control of the data there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So when a data transformation is typically triggered by one of several events, and the catch-all event is whenever a product is saved. So every time a product is either imported, edited, modified in any way, we can say, all right, just before we save it, we're going to do the data transformations on that product. And so that means it would apply to when suppliers are putting in data. It can apply to when your staff are putting in data, and it can also apply when data is being sucked in from the ERP or from any other source. So if you've got another PIM somewhere and you want to be able to automatically run data transformations, it will do that.
Thank you, Robin. Folks, if you guys have any other questions, please don't hesitate to throw them in right now.
And I probably already mentioned, but it's very hard to show you much of the product in a timescale like this. And I know some of you may want to see more or to zoom in on bits of it. Do please get in touch. We'd love to do a one-to-one meeting with you. We can show you things. We can even import some of your data and show you things like data transformations working on your data. And so we'd love to talk to you. Please get in touch.
Yeah, and this webinar has been recorded, folks, so we will be sending you a copy of the recording once it is available later today. I don't see any other questions, Robin, so I think that is it. So I want to thank you, Robin, for taking us through all of this. And like Robin said, if you have any questions, anything you want to see more in detail, we're happy to schedule personal demonstrations of Amplify for you. Like Robin said, there's a lot more that Amplify can do that just wasn't time to be done in this this short webinar. But we're happy to schedule a personal demonstration where we can take the time to go over everything you guys would like to see. So that is it from us at EasyAsk. Thank you again for joining us, everyone. For Robin Aiken, I'm Matt Basson. Thank you for hanging out with us and taking a look at Amplify, and we will hopefully talk to you guys again soon.
Thank you, everybody.